Some of these foods can kill you, not by accident. People eat them on purpose, knowing exactly what's inside. For some, the poison is removed by a chef's blade. For others, by months of rotting, fermenting, or burying the food underground. The only thing standing between a delicacy and a death is the knowledge of how to prepare it. Here is every deadly food people eat anyway. Fugu. Fugu is Japanese pufferfish, maybe the deadliest meal on Earth. Its organs hold tetrodotoxin, a poison up to 1,200 times deadlier than cyanide, and there is no antidote. One fish carries enough to kill 30 people, and a lethal dose is smaller than the head of a pin. If a chef leaves the wrong sliver behind, you feel your lips go numb first, then your face, then your body, while your mind stays perfectly clear, and within hours, you can simply stop breathing. That is why chefs train for 3 years, just to learn which parts to cut away. Some even leave a faint trace of toxin in the dish on purpose, just enough to tingle your lips and remind you how close you came. Japan eats roughly 10,000 tons of it a year, and still reports a death every few years. Sannakji. Sannakji is a Korean dish of octopus, served while it is still moving. The pieces are sliced from a live octopus and carried to your plate with the tentacles twitching, dressed in sesame oil and seeds, sometimes coiled around the chopsticks. Here's the catch. The suction cups don't switch off when the octopus dies. They can grip the inside of your throat on the way down and block your airway completely. Around 6 people choke to death on it every year, which is exactly why you're told to chew it hard, wash it down with something, and never to try it after a few drinks. Cassava. Cassava is a humble root that feeds around 500 million people, the third biggest source of calories in the tropics after rice and corn. You have eaten it without knowing, in tapioca, in bread, in chips, but the bitter variety hides cyanide in its flesh, enough that eating it raw or carelessly prepared can poison you outright. The fix is not exotic. The root has to be peeled, grated, soaked, and thoroughly cooked to leach the toxin away. Skip those steps and a crop that keeps whole nations alive turns into one that maims and kills. During famines across sub-Saharan Africa, when starving people are forced to rush the processing, badly prepared bitter cassava has left thousands with sudden permanent paralysis of the legs, a condition with its own name. Konzo. Bamboo shoots. Bamboo shoots turn up in stir-fries and soups all across Asia, crisp and mild. Fresh from the ground, though, they're laced with the same cyanide-producing compounds as cassava, and a single raw shoot can carry a startling dose. You can't taste your way to safety either because the danger doesn't show up in the flavor. The shoots have to be sliced thin and boiled, often for the better part of an hour, with the water poured off and changed along the way to carry the poison out. Done right, they're a harmless staple. Done lazily, they've sent people to the hospital with racing hearts, splitting headaches, and blood pressure falling through the floor. Ackee. Ackee is Jamaica's national fruit, and it comes with one absolute rule. Eaten at the wrong moment, it triggers what's actually called Jamaican vomiting sickness. Your blood sugar crashes, then come the seizures, sometimes a coma. The poison, hypoglycin, hides in the unripe fruit, in its seeds, and in its pink flesh. So the rule is simple and never broken. You do not open an ackee yourself. You wait until it ripens on the tree and splits open on its own, revealing the one pale, creamy part inside that is safe to eat. Pick it early, force it open, and the fruit Jamaicans treasure becomes the one that lands them in the emergency room. Rhubarb. Rhubarb is probably growing in a garden near you right now. The stalks go into pies and crumbles, tart and completely harmless. The leaves are another matter. Packed with oxalic acid, enough to burn your mouth, churn your stomach, and in large amounts do real harm to your kidneys. For most people, the danger is modest. You'd have to eat pounds of leaves to truly poison yourself. But sit with the strangeness of it. The same plant that sweetens a dessert keeps a toxin in its leaves, and generations of cooks have simply learned to slice the green part off and throw it away, most of them never asking why. Elderberries. Elderberries are turned into syrups, wines, and cold remedies all over the world. Cooked, they're harmless and even good for you. Raw, they're a different plant entirely. The berries, and especially the unripe ones, along with the leaves and stems, carry cyanide-producing compounds that can leave you nauseous, dizzy, and doubled over. People have genuinely been poisoned drinking juice pressed from raw, unripe berries and their stalks. The heat of cooking breaks the toxin down, which is why every traditional recipe simmers them first. It's a quiet rule hiding inside a wholesome health food. Never eat them straight off the bush. Kidney beans. Kidney beans might be the most dangerous thing in your kitchen right now. Raw or undercooked, they carry a toxin called phytohemagglutinin, and it doesn't take much. As few as 4 or 5 raw beans can leave you violently ill within hours, doubled over and unable to keep anything down. The strange part is how simple the fix is. Soak them, then boil them hard for 10 minutes, and almost all of it is destroyed. But cook them slowly on low heat, the way a careful person making a stew might, and you can actually make it worse, gently warming the toxin to several times its original strength without ever killing it. A pantry staple, one wrong setting away from a miserable night. Starfruit. Starfruit looks completely harmless, a sweet golden fruit shaped like a star. For most people it is, but if your kidneys don't work properly, the very same fruit becomes something else entirely. Healthy kidneys filter out a neurotoxin it contains. Damaged ones can't, and it slips through to the brain. In those people, a few slices can bring on hiccups that will not stop, then confusion, seizures, and in the worst cases, death. It's one of the quietest dangers on this whole list because the fruit never changes at all. The risk lives entirely in whoever eats it. Blood clams. Blood clams earn their name honestly, oozing deep red the moment you open them. They're eaten across parts of Asia, prized for that rich, iron-heavy color and taste. The trouble is how they live, filtering dozens of liters of water a day down in low-oxygen mud, soaking up whatever is in it, including hepatitis, typhoid, and dysentery. Cooked thoroughly, they're perfectly fine. Eaten raw or barely scalded, the way they often are, they've set off outbreaks on a staggering scale, and the hepatitis virus can survive inside them for weeks. One outbreak in 1980s, Shanghai infected over 300,000 people, and the city banned the clams outright. Silverstripe Blaasop. The Silverstripe Blaasop is Fugu's lesser-known cousin, and it's spreading. Another pufferfish, carrying the very same tetrodotoxin, eaten as a delicacy around the Mediterranean, in Turkey, Egypt, and Lebanon. To eat it safely, you have to remove the liver and reproductive organs flawlessly, the way trained Fugu chefs do. The difference here is that there's no centuries-old tradition of specialists, no license, no apprenticeship to fall back on. After the fish slipped through the Suez Canal into new waters, people who had never seen it before caught it, cooked it like any other fish, and died, at least 10 of them in just a handful of years. Hákarl. Hákarl is Greenland shark, and eaten fresh, it's genuinely poisonous. The flesh is so saturated with toxic compounds that a piece straight off the boat will make you violently sick, and can blind or even kill you. Icelanders solved this centuries ago, back in the age of the Vikings, in the strangest way imaginable. They let it rot. The shark is fermented and then hung to dry for months, until the toxins finally break down and what's left is safe to eat, reeking of ammonia, but safe. It's the rare dish that has to be deliberately, patiently spoiled before a single person can touch it, and even Icelanders tend to chase it with a strong drink. Buah Keluak. Buah Keluak is a seed from a Southeast Asian tree, and its name roughly translates to the fruit that nauseates. Raw, it holds so much cyanide that people use it to stun fish and poison pests. To turn it into food, they go to almost unbelievable lengths. The seeds are boiled, then buried underground in ash and leaves and left to ferment for weeks, sometimes more than a month. Only then does the deadly nut soften into a dark, rich paste that tastes faintly of chocolate and truffle. Treasured in Indonesian and Peranakan cooking, it is one of the clearest examples on this entire list of humans simply refusing to take no for an answer from a poison. Giant bullfrog. The giant bullfrog is a prized delicacy in parts of southern Africa, eaten almost whole. But its skin and organs carry toxins that can shut down your kidneys, and the danger shifts with the calendar, at its worst before the frogs have had the chance to breed. Traditional cooks carry strict rules about which part of the season it can be eaten and how it must be prepared, knowledge handed down precisely to dodge the worst of the poison. Get that timing wrong, and a meal meant for celebration can put people into kidney failure. It's a reminder that safe to eat is rarely about the animal, and almost always about the knowledge of whoever is cooking it. Casu Marzu. Casu Marzu is a Sardinian cheese, and it is still alive when you eat it. Cheesemakers leave pecorino out for flies to lay their eggs in, and the maggots that hatch eat their way through it, softening the inside into something spreadable and pungent. You eat it with the larvae still wriggling, and that is the whole point, because locals insist that once the maggots die, the cheese has gone bad. The larvae can even leap several inches when disturbed, which is why some eaters shield their eyes as they take a bite. Swallow them alive, though, and they can survive your stomach and burrow into the wall of your intestines. Guinness once crowned it the most dangerous cheese in the world. It's banned from sale across the European Union, and yet, in Sardinia, people still make it, because some traditions turn out to be stronger than the rules written to stop them. Every food on this list could hurt you, and every single one is somebody's delicacy, somebody's tradition, somebody's ordinary dinner. The line between food and poison was never really the food itself. It was the knowledge of how to handle it, carried down through generations who often learned it the hard way. So tell me in the comments, would you actually try one of these, and if so, which one? And if you'd run screaming from every single one, tell me that too. Subscribe for more of the strange and dangerous side of the world. It'll be fun.